Okay. Hello everyone. Yeah. So yesterday we have done like IPsec VPNs and we have done remote access SSL VPN. Today we are going with the high availability topic. Then we'll go with the transparent mode firewall. So let's start with the high availability topic. What is HA? It is like high availability. High availability. So why do we need a high availability? Suppose you have a infrastructure, you have LAN infrastructure, okay, or you have a servers in a data center. You have server one, you have server two, you have server three. Okay, three servers in your data center, or there are a number of servers. Servers are connected to your switches. These are your data center switches. Okay, now the switch will be connected to your firewall, right? And firewall will be connected to your ISP. At some point, if this firewall goes down, your servers will not be able to communicate to internet. And suppose these are web servers or public facing servers, a internet user will not be able to communicate to your servers, right? Now there is a downtime to your company, or production is down. So for this type of purpose that we do, we should not have a downtime, or production should not be down. We have like more than one firewall, or more than, like, we have redundant firewalls. To have a redundancy, we call it like a HA. If this firewall goes down, the traffic will be flowing from another firewall. Okay, is it clear? Just overview of HA.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. I have a question about it.
Yeah, please.
From Fortigate site,
Yeah. So any questions with high availability? Just understanding. This is a basic high availability for everything, like whatever firewalls you have. If you have more than one firewall and you are configuring a high availability, then if one firewall is down, another firewall will support or flow the traffic. Okay, now what,
it
how?
will be like the two must work together, or one will work on active and the other one on standby.
It depends on our configuration. I'll come to that point. 1 minute. So now let's see, once we understood like what is HA, it is like a redundancy process. If one firewall is down, another firewall will flow a traffic without, there would be no downtime to our production. Downtime will be minimal now. Okay, now how many types of HA we have in Fortigate? We have one is active active, another one is active passive. Okay, so usually in a companies everyone uses active passive, which is a standard, but if you want you can use active active also. So what happens when you have active active and active passive? This is a firewall 1, this is a firewall 2. Okay, these are connected to your internal switches. Okay, now when we create active active, this is also active and this is also active. So both the firewalls will be sending a traffic like a load balancing method. But what traffic they will load balance? They will not load balance all the traffic, only UTM traffic, like web filtering, or anything like antivirus check, whatever we have in the security profiles. As you know, we have done some configurations, right? We have done web filtering and application control. If you see, 1 minute, let's see. Yeah, you see this particular security profiles: web control, application control, advanced malware protection, IP reputations, IPS IDS, this traffic will be load balanced. Okay, not all the traffic. If you have normal L3 or L4 traffic, which is normal IP filtering or TCP UDP port checking, everything will be done by a master node, and this is a slave node. Assume this firewall is acting as a master, this firewall is acting as a slave. So all the traffic will be forwarded by this firewall to ISP. Now this is connected to our ISP. Assume traffic will come from a switch, it will go to firewall and it will go here. If anything coming like a web filtering or URL filtering or antivirus traffic or IPS traffic, then 50% traffic this firewall will send, and 50% traffic this firewall will give to this, and he will do web filtering check and he will send it to ISP. So in this way load balancing will happen. Now comes active passive. When we have like active passive, it is very simple. Like this is your firewall one, there is a lot of background noise. Ferric, you can mute and you can talk to me when
Please
you
go,
have any
go,
questions.
go back, please.
Yeah, yeah,
Go back, please.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Please.
Here, where the main and slave,
Master and slave.
they
This
will
is
have
master.
a management. Yeah, the master and slave. They will get a different management IP
Different management IPs.
and also different IPs on the ports.
No, no, no. IPs will be similar. This port, this is a WAN port. Suppose this is a WAN port, this is a LAN port. IPs will be identical. Same configuration. Everything will be same. The configuration will be everything same apart from management IP. Okay. If you don't want a management
Okay,
IP different, you can decide one management IP for both the firewalls. And when you suppose you have a PC here, management PC connected to your switch. Okay. Now if a management IP is same and suppose the management IP is 1.1, whenever you access 1.1 in this PC, only master will reply all the time. If a management IP is different, it is 1.1, it is 1.2, then okay, you can access both the firewalls at a time. Okay. Okay, then it comes a active and a passive. When we have a active and passive, one firewall will be active as a one firewall will be active, second firewall will be acting as a standby. And if in a case this firewall goes down, this firewall will become active and it will start forwarding the traffic to internet or our local LAN or whatever traffic we want. And again, when it comes to configuration will be similar in both the firewalls, like a policy configuration and everything. Even network interfaces or routing will be same. Only thing is management IPs we can configure different whatever we want. Okay, is it clear? What is active and passive? What is active?
yeah. What will be the difference between main and slave and active passive?
See, master and slave can do a load balancing of UTM bundle traffic. As I said you, there is a traffic. Suppose we have anything configured, URL filtering or application control, then this traffic will be load balanced. Okay, whenever the user is sending a traffic to firewall. Okay, this is a firewall, and this traffic on a firewall we have done like a block YouTube or block Facebook. When this traffic is configured for this particular user, 50% traffic will be handled by this firewall and 50% traffic will be handled by other firewall for URL filtering or application control or anything UTM traffic. Okay, only difference is that then whatever apart from that is everything is similar. If you feel like in active passive only one firewall is forwarding a traffic, another firewall will be just a standby, he will not forward any traffic. Okay. Any questions? Okay, then we'll move forward. 1 minute. Then we need to know election process now. When we have two firewalls in a HA, which firewall will become active now and which firewall will be standby? That is a question now, right? Guys, you can mute yourself and you can unmute when you have want to talk. Okay, now when we have more than one firewall, now we need to know which firewall will become active, right? There is a process for this particular flow. So now let's check a process now. If you see HA primary selection process, so we have something like failed monitor interfaces. So now suppose you have connected to a LAN. This is also connected to a LAN. This is connected to WAN.
The same land.
Yeah, it would be same LAN and same WAN. Okay, this would be same LAN switches, same WAN switches. So now this is our LAN port.
Why not you don't put, please, can you replace the two LANs by only one LAN and
Yeah, yeah,
make
yeah.
the two links coming on the LAN? It will be more understand.
Okay, okay. 1 minute, hold on. Suppose this is your WAN switch. This is your LAN switch now. Okay. Now the election process is like first it will check sorry, failed monitor interface. Whenever we do HA configuration, we define some configurations like this is a monitor interface, this is a monitor interface. On this firewall also we'll do monitor interface configuration, we do monitor interface configuration. And when the election process happening, now suppose the election started, which firewall will become active? First they will check was failed monitor interface. If all the ports are up and running, then they will go to second process. What is the second process now? Age. See, failed monitor interface, whichever is fewer, it will go like primary. If suppose this firewall was both are active and this firewall this was down, so this will become active. Now 1 minute. This is monitor interface. Now in this firewall, this interface is down. Okay, so this interface both are active, right? So this will become active and this will become standby. So that's how failed this election process happens on a failed monitor interface. If failed monitor interface are equal, then it will come to a age. Age is like when we do a configuration. Suppose this HA configuration we did on 3:21 p.m. Okay. Now this configuration we did on 3:30 p.m. So this age is older, right? This will become active. This we configured late, right? This will become standby. So age difference will happen like 5 minutes after 5 minutes. Suppose this is 3:21 and this you did 3:22. So there is a age is also equal, right? It is not there, the age difference is not more than 5 minutes. So both will be equal. Then it will go to third time, which is device priority. Device priority by default it is 128. You can change the device priority. Suppose you want manually, you want this firewall should be active all the time, you can do it on a device priority. Like the higher the priority, it will become active. Let's see. If a device priority is higher, this will
It
become
is
primary. Okay. Then if a device priority we did not change anything, then it will come to a serial number. Whichever serial number is higher, it will become a primary. Okay. So 1 minute.
Please go back on your topic.
Yeah, yeah, 1 minute. Hold on. Yeah. See, we'll come to that
Okay.
particular diagram. You will understand.
Suppose yeah.
Hold on.
Suppose that
Yeah, yeah. Please tell me. So this
no,
is a
not on
first.
this.
This is a first
I'm talking
point.
about the other one.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. This is second. This is third stage, and this is fourth stage. Okay. 1 minute. I'll come to that particular diagram. Yeah, please.
Okay, here
Mm-hmm.
for the ISP,
Okay, ISP.
the WP. Yeah. What will be the address we
It
will
would be
use?
same address. It would be
They
same
will be
address.
on
Only one IP, one address
the same
configured.
address.
Same address. Yeah. It the IP, as I said you in previous topic, configuration part, everything would be identical. Okay.
This one is not to compare to on routing. It's not compared to VRP.
No, 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 no. This is not a VRRP. This is
No, it's not like not
not like a
not like
VRRP.
a VRP.
When you have a VRRP, you have two IPs, which is physical IPs. One,
Yes,
this is a dot one, assume this is dot two.
and
Then you will have one virtual IP.
backup one.
Correct. This no, this is both are
Yes.
physical IPs on both the firewalls. Then you will have a one virtual IP. Traffic will flow on virtual
Okay. Here
IPs.
you said that you
Here it
said
is
that
not a
we will
VRRP.
get only one IP.
Correct. Okay. That IPs part I will come. How the traffic actually flowing, I will come to that point. First, you understand what is a primary election
Sir,
process.
please.
Okay.
Sir, please.
Yeah, please.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah, please.
Yes, when you said that when you said that we will have a single configuration for both sides, what do you mean? The IP address that will be configured on firewall one is be the same on firewall two, or what is the same when you said that the same
Yes,
IP
it would be
address?
same. When this firewall is active, all the IPs will be on this firewall, and if this firewall goes down, same IPs will be replicated to this firewall. We don't need to do anything.
Okay.
It will be automatically done. Okay. See,
Okay. Well noted.
you guys are going to a traffic flow as of now. First, understand how the election process happen, which firewall will become active and which firewall will become standby. We'll come to a traffic flow in the next next topic. Okay, clear? First, you understand how the election process happens when we have a HA configuration. Traffic flow, when you are doing a lab, you will understand. Don't worry, but you will not understand how the election process happening. So understand the election process first. Okay. So whenever we have like two firewalls and you want a HA configuration now. Now tell me which firewall will become active. How you will decide that this firewall should always become active? How you will decide this now? Frederick, can you answer this?
Yes, maybe I will configure different priority so that firewall one can be the primary firewall, and then
No.
the
Assume.
second
Yeah,
will
one
be.
minute. Hold on. Assume now I have two firewalls. Okay.
Mhm, mhm.
This is firewall 2. Okay, 1 minute. Now I want this firewall should always be active. So what is the default priority? Tell me first.
I can I can I can modify the based on the process. I
I
can modify
understand, but what is the default priority? You should know, right?
the age. I think
Sorry. Okay.
based
No, no.
on the process is the age.
That's what I am trying to explain you in the last session, in the last
Okay,
topic. That
okay.
first going to a traffic flow, understand what is the election process
Mhm.
first. Okay, if you understand, see,
Okay.
whenever you are doing HA configuration, first you need to understand which firewall is active, right? Then you will go like what is how the traffic is flowing or everything. If you don't understand how the HA is configured or which firewall is becoming active and what scenario, then how you will go to another topic. Okay, so see, the default priority is 128, and whichever firewall is having a higher priority, that will become active, and which is having a lower priority, that will become a standby. Okay, if you don't do a changes in a priority, both will have a 128, then it will go to another scenario or next election step, which is like a higher MAC address. Okay, if this firewall is having higher MAC address, this will become active, this will become standby. Okay, that's what we are trying to understand. Like suppose if we don't do any configurations, first only thing we do if we have not done even a monitor interface, election process will not happen on this stage. It will go to second stage, which is age of a HA configured. I repeat, I am not saying like interface configuration or policy configuration. I am saying HA configuration age. Okay, if this is also like less than 5 minutes, 1 minute, less than 5 minutes difference, then it will go like election process will go to third point, which is device priority. Now if you don't do anything, the default priority is 128, and it will go to a fourth stage, which is higher MAC address serial number, sorry, higher serial number. And all the firewalls will have a different serial number. There is no tiebreaker on this. See, here it was a tiebreaker. It was like both had a tie, right? Equal, both had a equal, age also equal, device priority is also equal, but serial number cannot be equal. It will, this firewall can be primary higher serial number and this can be lower, or it can be vice versa. This firewall can have a lower number, this firewall can have a higher number, right? So on this basis, the firewall election process happens, primary unit selection process happens. Okay, now is it clear? Hello.
It look clear. It
Okay.
look clear.
Okay, let's do one simple example. 1 minute, hold on. It look clear to you, right? Now I have two firewalls. This firewall HA I configured on 3 o'clock. This firewall HA I configured on 3:06. Which firewall will become active now? Tell me. This is firewall
Based on
1.
the age, I think the first firewall will be active.
This firewall will become active.
Yes,
Okay.
based on the
Now
age.
suppose this is a 3 p.m. This is like 3 p.m. 4 minutes. Okay. Now which firewall will become active?
Come again on the
Now 1
on the
minute.
details.
1 minute.
Mhm.
Okay. This is clear, right? This is firewall 1. This is firewall 2. Okay. 1 minute.
Okay.
Firewall 2. Now this firewall I have configured on 3 p.m. Okay, HA configuration I did on 3 p.m. This firewall I did configuration on 3 p.m. 3 minutes. Okay, the difference is 3 minutes difference. Now which firewall will become active?
Mhm.
The left one, 3 p.m., the older.
No, Now, as I said you, if the configuration time difference is less than 5 minutes, okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then it will go to second process, which is a device priority. Election will not happen on age now. This was a age, right?
It will
Election will
depend
not happen on
on
this.
the.
A
Mhm.
firewall will think this as a equal now. If you see, if age is equal, it will go to second stage now. Okay. Now it will not happen. Election will not happen on age. Now election will happen on a priority. Now this firewall priority I gave 255. This firewall I gave priority 254. Which will become active? Sorry guys. I'm audible to everyone. Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay. Now which firewall will become active? This priority is 255. This priority is 254.
The highest priority will be
Correct.
will become the
If
master.
the priority is also equal, like this is also 255 we did, this is also 255 did we did. Okay. Election will not happen
Okay.
on a priority also now. It will go to a serial
No, no,
number.
no. This serial number, and then we will
And
compare both serial number.
both the serial numbers will be obviously difference. The serial number will not be similar in any firewall or any device, right?
Of
So,
course.
so the higher serial number will become active.
Mhm.
Okay. So this is clear for you, right?
So that's the
Yes.
same process for all the firewalls.
When it comes to Fortigate, it is a process for any
Okay.
model number or anything. Okay. Yeah. So now let's close this. So this was just a election process. Now how the traffic flows, as you guys are very curious, let's see now. This is our firewall 1. This is our firewall 2. This is connected to switches now. Okay. This is our LAN switch. This is connected to our WAN switch. Obviously LAN side will have a lot of computers. We'll create one computer now. WAN side also will have like ISP now as in. Now we have on a LAN side, the subnet is on a firewall. We have like 192.168.1.1. A WAN side we have like 100.1.1.1. Now apart from, see, the IP address will be same on both the sides. Now this particular interface MAC is like assume A. This MAC is like B. Okay. Now these are physical MAC IDs. Apart from this physical MAC IDs, whichever firewall is, suppose firewall 1 is active, this firewall will create, this is like, this firewall will create a virtual MAC IDs for all network interfaces. This firewall LAN side is physical, right? It will create one more, which is like 1.1.1.1. Anything, any MAC ID it can create. Okay, this will be virtual MAC. Here also it will create like 2.2.2.2. This is also virtual MAC. The traffic will flow on a virtual MAC now. This is MAC, this is virtual MAC, this is virtual MAC. See, whenever we do ARP, we get a MAC resolution, right? Now, if you do on ARP on this particular PC, a firewall will reply with a virtual MAC instead of a physical MAC. You will get a ARP reply with a virtual MAC from a firewall. Similar on a ISP side also. Now, when this firewall goes down, all the this 192.168.1.1 will come here. 100.1.1.1 will come here. Apart from physical MAC, this virtual MAC also comes here. a physical MAC will be same only, but virtual MAC will be transferred to the another firewall which will become active. Okay, so see, in VRRP we have a virtual IP with a virtual MAC, but in HA process we only have a virtual MAC. Okay, so whenever we have a VRRP, we have two routers. Router is connected to our ISP. Okay, this will have dot 1 IP, this will have a dot 2 IP, then we are having dot 3 as a virtual IP, right? VIP. Then we will be having a virtual MAC also. Now this VIP and virtual MAC will be on the device which is active or primary, right? Now if this goes down, all the virtual MAC and everything will come to second device, right? In a VRRP. Similar to that, when we have HA, a virtual MAC will be given to active firewall, and if when the active firewall goes down, virtual MAC will be given to our standby firewall, which will become active. Okay, is it clear?
A question.
Yeah, please.
Go back on the two routers of VRP.
Okay.
Here, normally, when the ISP is sending something,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we send a request from the LAN to internet.
Mm-hmm.
We send a request, and the request is coming back. The answer of this request
Okay.
coming from the ISP.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, it will look which address between 1 and 2.
It will look 3.3. Traffic will come on dot 3, not 1 and 2 now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, in a
And it
VRRP.
is, yeah.
Yeah. See, when you have
And
any high availability
according to
protocol,
the,
when
yeah.
you have any high availability protocol, traffic will usually flow on virtual MAC or virtual IP only. Virtual IP or virtual MAC, whatever you configured. In our case, when we have a HA, IP will be same. IP will always be configured on only active firewall, and MAC will be transferred. When the failover happens, right? When one firewall, active firewall goes down, this virtual MAC will be transferred to our like standby firewall, which will become active in couple of seconds, and traffic will flow normally. Okay, and IPs will also be transferred to our standby firewall only. Okay, questions in this? Hello, hello guys. We'll do one lab and you will understand.
So,
Yeah, yeah, please.
so what, what's the main? So why like configure a virtual Mac?
Virtual MAC, we do not configure a virtual MAC. It will be given by Fortigate clustering protocol. Okay, this is a protocol for a HA in a Fortigate. See, if you don't have a virtual MAC, the traffic can be, see, configuration is same on both the firewalls now, right? Which firewall will reply now? If active firewall replies 1.1, this is also having 1.1 IP now, assume. Then the traffic from LAN to firewall, it will be disrupted, right? So for that, we don't work on physical MAC address when we have HA configuration. Actual traffic will only flow on a virtual MAC only. Similar to if you see VRRP, why do we have a virtual MAC in VRRP? Because we want the traffic not to flowing on a physical IP now, because the configuration is on both the firewalls and both can be active at the any time, right? Any given time one firewall can be active. And if a user is having like now suppose let me delete it or assume this is my firewall 1, this is my firewall 2. Okay, this is connected to LAN, right? LAN switch. This is connected to LAN and LAN connected to PC. Now this particular physical MAC is A, and A. This physical MAC is B, 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 and B. Now suppose if the traffic is not flowing on virtual MAC, this is having a ARP table, right? Now ARP table is on for 192.168.1.1. This is a 192.168.1.1 IP. This ARP is like A, and A. Now when this firewall goes down, still this ARP is recorded on this MAC only, right? And if ARP is coming from this MAC now, firewall the PC will take like time to flush a new old ARP and get a new ARP and everything will happen, right? Because as of now ARP entries are available on this particular MAC address on this particular IP only. Without ARP the traffic will not flow, right? Is it getting your point? So to overcome this particular issues, we get like a virtual MAC. Suppose now virtual MAC is C, 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 and C. Now whatever ARP it is available, it will be on like C, 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 and C. Now when this firewall goes down, still the MAC ID is transferred to second firewall, and this will be right. So this firewall will reply only with a virtual MAC, not with a physical MAC. So we don't need to do ARP flush or anything on a computers. Traffic will flow without any interruptions. Okay. Hello.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So now let's do one lab. You will get more clarity. Closing everything. Okay. So this would be our lab. 1 minute. Okay. Now I just gave it a name, primary and secondary. It can be anything. Okay. Now we will configure this firewall. This firewall port 1, I'll give it like 10.0.0.223. This firewall I'll give it like 10.0.0.224. This is our management switch connected to our cloud. Now let's do a manage initial configuration, then we'll see. Just power it on. As of now there is no configuration. Let's do it one by one. I'll do first primary firewall configuration. Mhm. Config system interface, edit port 1. We are just giving a port 1 management IPs. Set mode static, set IP 10.0/24, allow access HTTP ping SSH telnet. Okay. And config system settings, set the host name. Okay, we'll do it from GUI, no issue. Now let me do it a second firewall configuration. Okay, now let's see if we are able to access it. Close all this. Let me ping, execute ping 10.0.0.1. Okay, done. Execute ping 10.0.0.1. Okay, done. So we should get access now. Okay. Later. Okay, done. Now let me change host name primary FW. Okay. Now I don't have any network interfaces configured. Okay. Apart from port 1, I don't have anything configured. Static routes, we don't have anything. Security policies, we don't have anything. Okay. Same thing on second firewall. Secondary FW. Now let's do HA configuration. Here also we don't have anything. We'll do HA configuration. So which port we are using for HA link? There should be one HA link dedicated. You can have like one or two links up to our understanding. See, Fortigate recommends you should have two links for HA. But in our lab, we are using one HA link. This is our HA link, port 4. Now let's do it. Okay, primary firewall. To do HA configuration, go to system. You see HA, right? Go to HA. As of now, the standalone. Now we'll select like active passive. Wait, it is. Hello.
Yes, please.
Yeah. 1 minute. I think some issue. Okay. Active passive. I am not doing any device priority as of now. Group name we'll give HA. Password we should give. I'll give like password Fortigate. Monitor interface or anything I am not configuring. Just I'll select heartbeat interface, which is port 4. And you see management interface reservation. Whenever we select any interface for a
Interface.
management purpose, we need to select. In our diagram, if you see, port 1 is used for management, so I will select a management interface like a port 4. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Port 1. Okay. Then if you want, you can give like destination gateway configuration for port 1. Okay. This is a HA configuration done on primary firewall now. Now let's do HA on secondary firewall also.
Please.
System. Yeah, yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, go back on the. I don't understand why you choose the port for. Is it for the?
That is a HA link, right? Heartbeat link. You see, port 4 is connected between firewall
Okay,
between firewalls.
the link between the two firewalls.
Correct. Okay. Let's go again. Now we'll go to second firewall. Okay. Active passive. We are not doing any device priority change. Group is HA group. I'll do password change, which is Fortigate. Okay. Then again heartbeat interface, port 4, management interface, which is a port 1. Okay. Then I'll just give it like 10.0.1. Okay, done. Now we have done HA configuration on both the firewalls. Now let's see how to check HA status. All commands I have given in this particular PDF. See points to remember. Below process stops the first match. Okay, no issue. Okay. Viewing how the primary unit got selected. Get system HA status will select. Get system HA status. Now let's see on what basis the firewall HA was selected. We will check. Okay. See, this particular firewall is selected as primary because its serial number is okay, 1 minute. What was this firewall serial number? We will note down. Okay, it is having some process. Okay, 1 minute. This is primary firewall serial number. Okay. Now let's check secondary firewall serial number also. Okay. Okay, we don't have. Let's see. Get system status. We'll get a serial number. Okay. Now we have both the firewall serial number, right? Now which firewall? This is FGVM EV. FGVM EV. This is F. This is ES. Now let's see which firewall become active. Get system HA status. Okay. You see FGVM VF is selected as a primary because its serial number is larger than the primary peer member, which is FGVM. Now if you see in our configuration, what we have done, we have not done a changes on like 1 minute. See, monitoring interfaces, we have not configured. Priority, we have not configured, right? Age is less than 5 minutes in our configuration. Now the last thing happens is serial number. So in our case, election happened based on serial number. And which firewall was having a higher serial number? Our primary firewall. 1 minute. Sorry, this firewall. Our secondary firewall was having a higher serial number, and this was selected as active now. And this firewall will become a standby. Now let's see similar thing happen or what. Okay. See, secondary firewall. This is a secondary firewall, and this is a primary. Now let's just log into our firewall, and we'll see on a GUI. Under HA configuration synced. So you see secondary firewall is having higher serial number and role. This is a primary role. See, whenever we have an active firewall, the role will be like, we say it active, but this role is like a primary role. And this will always send a traffic. Traffic flow will happen from this firewall. This firewall will become a secondary, and this will be in a standby mode. And when this primary firewall goes down, all the traffic will sync to a secondary firewall or okay, standby firewall. Any questions in this? See, uptime is both the uptime is like 13 minutes only. So that is not happening based on uptime. Okay. So, okay. We'll just take a 5 minutes break. If you have any questions, please keep it ready. We'll start in a 5 minutes. Okay. Okay. So as of now, if you see, apart from HA configuration, we don't have anything. And if you want to check which firewall become active, you can check with this particular command, get system HA status. You will get primary selected using serial number is selected as a primary because its a serial number is larger than the peer member. Okay, so this firewall is acting as a secondary. If you see, it will get you like secondary firewall serial number and primary firewall serial number. See a role, our firewall primary firewall is acting as a secondary role, the secondary firewall is acting as a primary role. Okay, now let's go to interfaces configuration. So system interface, as of now we don't have any interface or port 1 or port 2 anything configured, right? Now I'll go to our primary firewall, which is our secondary in this case. We'll do interfaces configuration. So now let's see 1.0, 2.0, right? Go to network interfaces. I'll go to port 2, port 2 only, right? Port 2. Port 2 is 2.0, okay, which is our WAN side. WAN 192.168.2.1. 24.
LAN, not one.
Port 2 is
LAN.
WAN. Port 2 is WAN, external. Okay. Port 2 is external. Port 1 is internal. Okay.
Yes,
Sorry.
the port two. Okay.
Port 2 is external. Port 3 is internal. If you see, port 2 is going to external switch and outside PC, right? So port 2 is a WAN we have selected.
Okay. Okay.
2.1 and
Okay.
I'll just give it like a ping. Okay. Now we'll do it on a port 3 also. Port 3 is a LAN. Select the role as a LAN. 192.168. 1.1/24. Okay. I just need to select it at the ping also, right? Okay, done. Now our both the firewalls are having a, it should have like a configuration. As of now, this firewall we don't see anything. Now let me check on secondary firewall. So system interface. You see this firewall is having port 2 and port 3. Okay, but this firewall still you should see like 00 only. So system interface. No, it is having IPs, same IPs, but we'll see MAC addresses. We'll get to know. You see this firewall is having 2.1, 1.1, same IPs. This firewall is also having same IPs 1.1, 2.1, internal and external, right? Now let's see our MAC address of both the firewalls, then we'll understand. System address is okay, active, passive. How to get the MAC addresses? Let's see. To check port virtual MAC address, give the below command. Diagnose hardware device info, NIC port 2. Okay. This secondary firewall is acting as a primary role, right? Now let's see. Diagnose hardware for NIC port 2, right? Now let's see. If you see, this particular firewall is acting as a primary, right? We have two addresses. One is hardware address, one is permanent address. The permanent address is a physical address of that particular port, and hardware address is given by HA configuration or Fortigate clustering protocol. And now I will see on a secondary firewall, diagnose hardware device info NIC port 2. If you see on this, which is acting like the hardware address and the permanent address is same, right? On the standby firewall, you see hardware address 5050, everything is same. But which firewall is acting as a primary or active firewall, that firewall is having hardware address and permanent address as different, right? Able to see? Hardware address is given by Fortigate clustering protocol, and permanent address is a physical address of a NIC port. Okay, similar thing will happen for a port 3 also. If we do it for a port 3, port 3 will have a different physical address and hardware address. Okay, but here again for a port 3 there would be same address for a hardware address or permanent address, if you see. Okay, and traffic will flow based on this particular hardware address, not a permanent address. Now let's go to like routing configuration. I don't need any routing as of now. Let's go to policies and object. We'll create one LAN to WAN policy. LAN WAN. Incoming interface is LAN. Outgoing interface is WAN, right? Source 192.168. We don't have anything. Let's create one thing, one source. LAN 192.168.1.0/24, which is part of our LAN port. Okay, done. LAN destination, it can be all, service can be all. Okay, use outgoing interface. Okay, done. All sessions output. Okay, done now. Okay, fine. Now let's see a traffic flow. Traffic flows on which MAC address now? The configuration, see all the configurations we have done on secondary firewall, right? Now let's see, everything will be there on primary firewall also. It will be synced automatically. HA synchronization is done, synced, right? Synchronized. If you go to policy and object, firewall policy, the policy should be automatically created, right? It is synced or copied from secondary firewall. Okay, now let's go to our okay, 1 minute, hold on. Okay, some issue maybe. 1 minute. Okay, let me power on this. This is already powered on, right? Let me do it like IP 192.168.2.2/24 is a gateway. If I ping a gateway, what I ARP show ARP hyphen a show ARP table is empty, right? Let me ping a gateway 2.1. I'm getting a ping. Now let's see ARP show ARP. Now you see ARP was happening on this particular Mac. This is not a physical Mac, right? This is a virtual Mac. If you go to secondary firewall, port 2, hold on, this is a port 2, right? What is a hardware Mac of port 2? 00090F 090001, right? So this is a permanent Mac. This is a physical Mac of port 2, but actual ARP reply is happening from this particular hardware address. Okay. Now let me go to this IP 192.168.1.2/24 to 168.1.1. Even for my internal PC, what ARP resolution will happen? Let's see. Okay, show ARP. Even for this, ARP resolution was happening on virtual Mac only. Now what I'll do, see, as of now, physical firewall, sorry, secondary firewall is not having any Mac. If you see NIC port 2, this firewall is having same MAC address, right? What I'll do, I'll ping a continuous ping. Sorry, 2.2 plus hyphen t. I'm getting continuous reply, right? What I'll do, this firewall is acting as a primary. I'll shut it down. Or I can do it like, yeah, okay, I'll shut it down. Then I'll check like traffic flow. Is there any ping reply or timeout? Let's see. After 2 timeouts, again I'm getting a proper request, right? Now let me check on a primary firewall. When the other firewall was active, there was only one MAC, right? Now let me check same command again. Now the MAC will be replicated to this firewall. Now you see, previously it was only one MAC, both hardware and permanent address having one MAC. Now when this firewall become active, now it is having like two MAC addresses, right? Hardware address is virtual address, permanent address is this address. If you do it like now, show ARP resolution was happening on virtual Mac only. ARP resolution will not happen anytime on physical Mac in a HA configuration. Okay. Now I'll do like again continuous ping 2.2 space hyphen t. Sorry. I'll bring that particular firewall as active again. There should be no request timeouts or anything, like couple of 1 or 2 is fine. So that's how you can do like when you have more than one firewall, you can create a HA configuration, and one firewall will be acting as active and sending a traffic. Another firewall will be in standby, syncing all the sessions and configuration. Okay. So any questions in this team? Okay, then we'll move to our next topic, which is a transparent mode firewall. Okay. See, till now, whatever configuration we did in our firewalls, which was in like a NAT mode. There is one more mode in a firewall, which is transparent mode. When you have a transparent mode firewall, there are things. When you have a NAT mode, traffic will flow based on layer 3. Okay. You will be having a IP to all the interfaces. You will be having a routing. Firewall can do a NATing. Okay. But when you have a transparent mode firewall, you will not have a IP. You cannot do a routing, or you cannot do a NATing also. It is like a firewall is acting as a switch now. But in NAT mode, firewall will be acting as a router plus the security features. Switch, but it will be having a security features. Okay. So in what mode, what is used? Now suppose you already have a company environment where you have one router, you have internal switches, you have some PCs or servers connected now. Okay. Now this is connected. This is connected to your ISP. So now in your LAN you will be having one LAN, right? The gateway, 1 minute. Okay. So this particular port, which is like suppose 192.168.1.1 is a gateway. This is a gateway for your LAN environment now. Okay. So this PC or everything, this particular switch is just a layer 2 switch, and firewall is acting as a layer 3 now. Now there is a scenario that your management wants to implement a firewall, but they don't want to do IP changes. Okay, they don't want to do any IP changes, or they don't want to implement new subnet in a environment. So suppose, see, now in this scenario, if you want like router, firewall, switch, right? So if you deploy a firewall in a NAT mode, what you need between a router and a firewall, you need one subnet, right? It can be any subnet. And between a firewall and your LAN side, this is your LAN, you need another subnet. This is subnet 1, this is subnet 2, right? But what your management want, your management want only one subnet in a environment. Okay, so what you can do on this particular thing only, you will deploy a firewall here. It will be connected in the middle only. 1 minute. The firewall will be connected here with the TP mode, transparent mode. When you have a transparent mode, 1 minute, hold on. Now see, you have a router, you have a switch. Now what will happen? You have a firewall in the middle now. But this is a transparent mode now, TP mode. So you don't need any IPs on this particular interfaces on firewall. This will be acting as a layer 2 interface only, and this is also acting as a layer 2 interface only. You don't need any IPs on this particular interfaces. Okay, clear? So whatever gateway, see, previously when we don't had a firewall, the gateway was this interface, right? When we have a firewall also, the gateway will be this particular interface only for our LAN environment. Okay, and you can do all the security features like URL filtering or web filtering or app control, whatever you want, you can do everything. Only thing is you cannot do routing and you cannot do NATing. Okay, clear? Hello, hello, guys. I'm audible.
Yes.
Yeah. So is it clear for you? What is transparent mode?
Yeah, very clear. We make a proposal.
Sorry. Okay. Then I'll just move to a lab. See, the transparent mode firewall is available in all the vendors. If you work on Cisco, Fortigate, Palo Alto, every firewall, every vendor will support transparent mode firewall. Okay. Now let's go to our lab. See, as of now, in our lab, we have one router, we have one switch. Okay, we have some PCs. Okay, our router. Let's see what is IP. Okay, let's power on switch also. Show VLAN brief. Okay, port 0, port 3, part of VLAN 10. We should have like show IP interface brief. We have VLAN 1, 10, 20, 30. We'll configure only one VLAN and we'll check. No worries. And VLAN will be of a switch. Router will be acting as a gateway. Config T interface range Ethernet is 0/023. Switch port mode switch port mode access switch port access VLAN 1. Okay, now let's see on a router what is happening. The router show IP interface brief. We have one interface Ethernet 0/0 1.2. Okay, now let me open a virtual PC. Show IP could not be there. IP 192.168.1. What is the IP of router 1.2, right? 1.10/24 192.168.1.2. Checking. Okay, okay, done. Let me ping a router. I'm able to ping from a virtual PC. Am I able to ping? I'm able to get the internet also on this particular VPC because I have netting and everything on a router. Now everything is working fine with one PC. 1 minute, let me power on this also. Just I'll come back in 1 minute. Okay. Hello. Okay, then let's see
Yes.
if we are getting internet on this PC or not. I'll just do one network configuration details. 1.100 is okay. 1.1. Let's see if we are able to ping or not. I'm not able to ping as of now. 1.1. Sorry, 1.2. I need to change it, right? Previously it was 1.1. Now gateway changed to 1.2 only. That was my old setup configuration something. Now router is acting as a gateway, right? And router IP is 1.2. Okay, done. Done. Close it. Okay. Now I should get the internet. I'm able to ping. If I do like ping google.com, I'm able to ping. Everything I'm able to do it, right? Now there comes a scenario. Now if you see in your environment, there is only one subnet. Okay. As of now, you have one subnet, which is 192.168.1.1 or 1.0/24. This is 1.100. This is 1.10. It can be anything 1.20. Now your management want in between a router and a switch, you want a firewall. Okay, but you don't want to do any subnet change. See, we can do it like we will create it 1.0/24 here 2.0, but this will be NAT mode now, right? Because this particular interface is having one IP and this particular interface is having another IP. Firewall will do all the routing and everything, but we don't want this type of setup. We want only one IP for a firewall, which is management IP. Okay, and all the things, there should be no routing and anything. So what we will do, this particular link we will delete it now. See what we will do, this link we will delete it. Ethernet 0/0 will go to firewall now, port 1 or port 2. No issue. 1 minute. Port 2 we will connect it. Hold on. 1 minute, friends. Just hold on. Okay, router is connected to port 2 on a firewall. Now switch will also connect to port 1 on firewall now. Done. Now we'll just do a firewall wipe out. There can be any previous configuration. So now, okay, we'll power it on now. See, the default mode is a NAT mode only. Now we will change a mode to transparent mode, then we will see. See, this particular PCs and all gateway is a router now, right? The router should be a gateway still. Let's see what is happening. Fortinet. Okay, we'll just do starting configuration. Okay, I'll change a mode to transparent mode. Before that, 1 minute, config system interface, edit Fortilink, set to Fortilink, disable. Okay, now config system settings. set operation mode. So how many modes we have? We have NAT mode, we have transparent mode. So we'll go it with the transparent mode now. Okay, then we'll do a management IP configuration. 192.168.1.1/24. Okay, that's all. Then let's see on port 1 what is a configuration. So system interface port 1 is having all the access. Okay, https. Now let's see from a PC if I am able to ping 1.1 now. I am able to ping. I'll get a firewall access from this PC now. See, previously when we have like NAT mode, we need to do all the routing and everything, right?
You're not audible on my side.
Hello, hello,
No,
hello.
not yet. Yeah, now you're audible.
Okay, okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So when we are in a transparent mode, if you go to interfaces, you see IP configuration options is not available now. You see, there is no configuration option for IP addresses and all. And even if you go, there is no routing configuration like static or BGP configuration is not there now. Okay. Now let's go to adjust policies. But policy configuration, everything will be there. See, previously when we don't have a firewall, we were able to get the internet, right? Now we will not get the internet until and unless we have like firewall policy created. Now there is no firewall policy. I'll create one policy like LAN to WAN policy. Incoming interface traffic is coming from port 1, traffic is going to port 2, source is our LAN subnet. Okay, done. LAN subnet destination, it can be all, services will be all. See, previously we had an option of NAT also, right? But now we don't see any NAT configuration options because we are in transparent mode firewall. But you can do all things like web filtering, your antivirus, anything you can do it here also. Okay. Okay, now I'll just click it like okay. Now I should get ping replies or something. Yeah, as soon as I create a firewall policy, I am getting a ping reply, right? So now see, now we introduce a firewall in between a router and a switch, but we have not done any IP changes. Previously this was connected like this, right? And this port was having 192.168.1.1. Now we want a firewall in the middle. We have removed this link, and LAN is connected to a firewall is connected to a switch, but still this port is having same IP 1.1. Okay, for this PC gateway is still a router. For this PC gateway is still a router, but the firewall is doing any security policies like allow and deny of traffic will be done from a firewall now. Anything like layer 3 or layer 4 allowing also it can do. URL filtering or antivirus control, anything firewall will do, right? But there is no separate network now. Okay, clear? So any questions, anyone? Okay, so after this transparent mode firewall, let me add one more firewall here. I'll show you. Whatever firewall we have in our virtual environment, that supports only one VDOM. So we cannot create multiple VDOMs in our environment. Let me show you. Okay, let's see. Get get system status. If we see here, VM is there. Okay, virtual domains, 1 in a NAT mode, 0 in a transparent mode. Maximum number of virtual domains configuration is only 1 in this firewall, but based on a model to model, the VDOM's configuration will be different. If we see here, product matrix. Okay, VDOM. Okay, device VDOM's maximum for a this this is not centralized management platform. This is not required. Virtual appliance. Okay, virtual appliance VDOMs, virtual domains. So what is this particular model number? Let's see. If you go for Fortigate 40F, the default VDOMs is 10. If you go for 60, the default VDOMs you can create a maximum VDOMs you can create is 10. Okay, till 80F the maximum VDOMs are 10 only. Now let's see 200F. 200F also the VDOMs capability is 10. See, another high end model is there, 1000F. This is a big model, right? For 1000F you can create 250 VDOMs. Okay, so based on a model to model, the VDOM configurations will different. So what is a VDOMs now? Let's understand. So now suppose you are working in a organization like service provider organization. Now you have one firewall, you have 3 customers. Okay. Now all your three customers demand, I want dedicated firewall. Now what you can do in this scenario, either purchase three firewalls for three customers, one firewall for customer. Okay. Or else you can purchase one high-end model, based on a requirement. Divide this model into three parts. Okay. Customer A, customer B, customer C. Now suppose this model is having 20 interfaces. Okay. What you can do, customer A you can give 7 network interfaces. Customer B you can give 7 network interface. Customer C you give 6 interfaces. Okay. So now what happens, you have 3 ISPs, ISP B, ISP C. Okay. This will be connected and it will connect it to customer A LAN only, LAN A. So this will be your WAN, this will be your LAN IPs. Similar for customer B, you will be having another thing. Dedicated network ports will be there for each customer. Okay, or each VDOM. This is your WAN. Similar to customer C, you will be having your WAN port. So whatever configuration you do for customer A, it would be like routing or security policies or network interfaces. It will be only dedicated to one particular VDOM, and for VDOM B again there would be separate config. Okay, so it is like you are dividing one firewall into multiple parts, and based on your requirement you are giving network interfaces to that particular VDOM and providing the services to your customers. Okay,
Okay. Yes. In the case we have only one ISP in the country.
that's okay. So what you can do, you have one ISP now, I assume. Okay, but from one ISP, if you have three customers, you need to get three public IPs. Okay,
Yeah.
that is, this is mandatory. Now this will come to your switch, your WAN switch. Okay, then it will come customer A VDOM. This is your firewall now, I assume. Okay, this will come to your customer A WAN port, then customer B WAN port, then customer C WAN port. Okay, the from ISP you are getting one link, but you need to connect a switch, and this port and this ports will be part of VLANs, and it will come. Now both all three public IPs would be different. Public IP 1, 2 and 3. Okay, clear?
Yes. Here our switch will be layer 3 switch.
Layer 2 only.
Layer 2 or layer 3?
Layer 2 switch. Whenever you do WAN switch, it would be always layer 2 only, WAN switch. It is just for a connectivity purpose. See, from a ISP we are getting one link, and we want to divide that one link to three links, right? That's why we are
Mm-hmm.
using a switch in the between.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions in this? After this VDOM and everything, whatever configuration you
In the
do, like security
in
policies
the
and everything.
configuration,
Yeah, yeah.
we have to create the VDOMs, or like how
You need to create a VDOMs. Then you need to bind the ports to a VDOMs.
okay, before use it.
Before using it, you need to create a VDOM. Then you need to bind a port to a VDOM. Example. See, whenever you get
Some
any
sort.
firewall, you
Mm-hmm.
got one firewall now, right? You have 10 ports. Okay. All the ports will be part of default VDOM, which is root. Okay. Now you create this firewall into two parts. Okay. First you create a VDOM A, VDOM B. Add 5 interfaces to VDOM A, 5 interfaces to VDOM B. Okay. Then you can, out of 5 interfaces, you can take one port as a management port, configure that management port, then you get a GUI access, then you do all the network interfaces configure, then you do
It's
routing or
okay.
whatever you want. Similar, everything is similar after that. LAN and WAN configurations, your LAN port, your WAN port, your routing and your security policies, whatever, it is similar everything after that. Okay. Only changes are you need to create a VDOMs and you need to add a ports to that particular VDOMs. This is the only changes you have. Apart from that, everything is same. Okay. Any questions, anyone?